Hi, this is a new thing called Blue Herring. It's the minimum viable product. What we're doing here is showing you the basics of this application and how you might find it relevant if you're managing an enterprise system. Blue Herring reduces the embarrassing outages that occur when seemingly trivial updates or configuration changes bring down an entire enterprise system. It increases stability and reliability by continually monitoring for changes in everything that matters so that when a problem does occur, you can locate it quickly and easily before your stakeholders have time to complain or even to notice. Now, I'm showing this to you because you're on the short list of my colleagues who know stuff and may be in a position to give really good feedback. So let's get started. We log into the app here. We're using Auth0 for authentication. It's easy, it scales, and it means we don't need to store your password. And then we come to the dashboard. Right now, the dashboard has two main items. That's your minimum viable right there. There's scanning success on the right and your most active resources. As you see here, there's no active resources because none of them have changed at all. There are no changes in any resources. Let's drill down. You'll see that there are 6 resources set up here. They're all green because they haven't changed. Green light, it's all good, everything is okay. You can see here in all the resources it says not changed recently. This is our starting state. Now imagine that you are in this demo, you're running a simple enterprise system that consists of these important resources left to right. You see every resource has a resource name and a resource type. And it's important to note that absolutely everything in Blue Herring has to do with resources that are monitored. If you understand what resources do, you understand what the system does. Now, going from left to right again, we have these 3 things that have to do with DNS. There's DNS for some API we've set up, there's a reverse IP on something, and there's a DNS for some stuff we have out on cloud. Then we've got 2 Microsoft SQL Server databases. The first one, the Blue Herring database, one of the things we do with Blue Herring is we monitor Blue Herring. It's eating our own dog food. And we have a database for this hypothetical application, and the database is called Buffy. Just a little side note, the trademark symbol in the name Buffy, that's Unicode. And every resource fully supports Unicode throughout all of Blue Herring. You can name anything. If you need to do international support, it is built in. If you need to support unusual character sets or things that are other than the Roman alphabet, it's all good. Finally, we've got a null resource type, and honestly, that's for testing. You're not going to use a null in real life, but if a null resource ever has a change, that would be highly surprising. So that's just in there for my own checking. You're going to see the back end and some test data being generated in a command window. This is for demo purposes. We're not. Some of these readings are not actually happening in real time. I'm playing them back for demo purposes. So we're generating a couple of readings, and every resource is taking a reading periodically. You set the period. So you could say a certain resource, such as a SQL server, is really, really important and it is worth the bandwidth to be scanning it every minute, every 5 seconds. Or it's a lower priority and only gets scanned every couple of days. That's fine, that's your choice. And Blue Herring maintains a snapshot of whatever the configuration of that resource was at the time, and we'll run a compare in the background and let you know when something has changed. A key thing here is Blue Herring is not an alerting system. It is more of a troubleshooting system. So you're not going to see any alarms. What you are going to see is that when you go to the dashboard, you will see what has changed. When something has gone wrong and you need to figure out what's broken, this is where you go. So we're going into the local Buffy database, and we're going to see that it has two tables. It has a cat food table and a dog food table. We're going to edit the schema of the cat food table, and let's just add a couple of columns to it. We've got alpha, beta, gamma. We will add delta. We will add an epsilon column. That's going to be an nvarchar max. Save that. And you can imagine, I mean, this is obviously a contrived example, but you can imagine in your live systems that somebody maliciously changed the schema, third-party application installation changed the schema. Somebody went outside of change control procedures, and it's a legitimate change that you just weren't expecting. For whatever reason, this change has gone in, and Blue Herring is going to pick up on it. As a side note, tables are really easy to view, but the SQL Server resource will pick up changes in foreign keys, stored procedures, triggers, default values, you name it. Everything that's in a SQL Server schema does get tracked. But we'll just look at column definitions because those are simple. And now we refresh. Sorry, we have to refresh. And we'll look at resources, and you notice that we do have a most active resource because something has changed. You see that the Buffy SQL Server has in fact changed. And there it is, it's orange because changes that we have not decided whether they're good or bad changes yet, whether they're relevant to the thing we're troubleshooting or not. So they show up as orange. It's a compromise between green and yellow. That's not orange. It's a compromise between yellow and red. It's a compromise between yellow and red. So we look at, when you click on that resource, it's going to show you the change history, and you see a yellow change. That is an unresolved change that might be relevant to our troubleshooting session and might not be. Also note that because this is a SQL Server resource, you're getting a SQL Server script back to describe your change. We just figured that was the most unambiguous way to represent that change. For other resources, your changes will be described in a way that makes sense for that type of resource. So moving right along, we generate some more changes and do another refresh. And you see that another thing has changed, that we have had something happen in the reverse IP resource. So let's drill down and take a look at that. Notice the reverse IP resource is showing orange. Again, indeterminate changes. If you look at the regular API DNS, it has no changes. If you look at the Blue Herring resource, again, no changes. But let's go and look at the reverse IP. We have a yellow change, it's unresolved, and because it's a DNS change, we're seeing the syntax or the nature of the change in a way that makes sense for a DNS. So we're changing a pointer value, which is a reverse IP lookup, that this reverse IP used to be at this location, now it's in that location. That might be relevant. And notice the three buttons on every change: resolve, set as unresolved, or flag as danger. This is your judgment call because this is your troubleshooting tool. We don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. We don't know if it was a planned change or if the person operating the system knew about it. So you can say, yeah, I'm going to click on resolve. That was an expected change, and I know that this is not the thing that is breaking my app right now. You could set it as unresolved or leave it unresolved, saying, we actually don't know, we're in the midst of troubleshooting. Or you can say, you can click on the red flag as danger and go, yeah, actually this could be what's up. This could be the thing that we needed to know about. So in this case, we're going to just say, yeah, that's actually problematic. We're going to flag that as potentially dangerous. If we did a refresh here, you would see the Buffet resource rectangle coming up as red because it is a resource that contains a dangerous change. That's it. That's this week's demo. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would really like to talk to you about it. Give me a call or an email, and let's discuss. Thanks.